Hey guys, Pixel here, back with part 2 of Pokemon Planet. And if you notice, this video is a bit shorter than the last one. It's because I realize that most people won't watch 30 minutes of me rambling, especially because my content doesn't have too much quality. Or at least just my personal opinion on my own content, and you guys probably wouldn't want to watch that. So, when we left off, we had just defeated Brock, and so for this week's video, it's just going to be basically us defeating Misty, which is, I think that's how I'm going to plan to do my episode, which is just doing it gym leader by gym leader or section of thing by section by section. So basically, after the Brock fight, it didn't go as smoothly as I had predicted, and I knew I was gonna have to level up even more if I was even gonna think about fighting Misty. So I went to the route next to Pewter, and I just started doing some grinding because I knew my Pokemon could take on the local ones, but I knew I was going to need to be a bit higher level to actually beat Misty, which as you can see in this footage right now, I did a pretty significant amount of grinding, but then I ended up leaving because I realized, hey, I actually need a Pokemon that I could counter Misty with. So I pretty much decided to just walk off to try and find a Pokemon that could fit that role. So because of how the game runs, it's not like regular Pokemon in the sense that there are some encounters that are randomized. And I actually realized that while hunting in Viridian Forest, because I was actually trying to hunt for a Pikachu to go against Misty. But I had no luck because Pikachu just isn't in that area in this game. So I actually went on and I looked up the encounters for the specific day that I'm recording this, and it turns out that I had access to this little patch outside of Pewter that had a chance to spawn a Bellsprout, which, as you can see, I did find one, and I was able to capture it with some reasonable difficulty. So now I had a new challenge to deal with, which was getting this Bellsprout to get on par with my team, which meant yet another grinding session. I mean, legitimately, this was one of the hardest parts for this episode I had to do. Not only did I have to level up my team to face Misty, but I also had a member who was severely weak, and most of it was just switch training the entire time, which overall led to me being somewhat very underleveled and some of my Pokemon not receiving really any leveling up at all. But when I felt that I was somewhat prepared, I decided to take my team, which I had done a bit of grinding on, to Mount Moon and inevitably get to Cerulean City. And as I beat the last hiker on the route leading up to Mount Moon, I quickly stopped in the Pokemon Center to heal up, and then prepared myself to enter Mount Moon. So going in, nothing seems too different. I mean, there are a few shiny stones that were lining walls, which I thought was very interesting. What was very interesting was that when I decided to walk off to try and see if the for water gun was still where it normally is. And no, instead there were just a bunch of gems. And there seemed to be a lot of gem-like rocks everywhere. So I was pretty much just walking around for a bit trying to find hidden items and things like that, with no luck. Then I talked to this guy called the Guru, the mining guru. Basically, he said something along the lines of, hey, these things are gems for mining and stuff. And I decided, you know what, let's pick up a pickaxe. And I mined one of the nearest things, which was a red rock. And basically, when you mine it, you get certain gems, which I guess are supposed to be exchanged for either Poké Dollars or along something. I honestly don't really know what they do at this point, and I Then at one point I tried to get a blue one and it said that I needed to be mining level 10, and I just realized that I just kind of opened an entire jar of worms that I don't even know if I'm even going to get into it. So I just kind of took my 2 red gems and just played through Mount Moon like normal. Team Rocket didn't seem to be as involved as... Actually, they weren't really involved at all with Mount Moon. Even when I went down to the floor where they would usually be, there wasn't even blocking the cave where the Helix Fossil and Dome Fossil would be, which there wasn't even any fossils in there at all. It was very weird. But I went through the entire thing and I got out, and well, guess it's time to move on to Cerulean. And after a few more unnecessary battles with some campers later, we are here in Cerulean. Like any good Pokemon trainer, I decided to first go and heal up my Pokemon. But I decided that before fighting Misty, I would go to Nugget Bridge to try and get some extra cash. And as you can see, it was a complete sweep. None of the Pokemon were able to stand up to Charizard's full brute force power and my other Pokemon's, well, medium-ish power. But at the end, for some reason, they didn't give me a nugget at all, kind of taking away the point of it even being called Nugget Bridge in the first place. And then I decided to go walk around to see if there was anything else that was the same, and like I figured, nope. No item at the top like there was in the original games, but that is to be expected at this point. So after going back up there and seeing nothing, I decided to come back down and try my first shot at the gym battle. Alright, gym time. So the first trainer's Pokemon was pretty easy to deal with me easily taking on his Horsey, though suffering a few accuracy drops from Sand Attack. But his second Pokemon, when he sent out Cloyster, things just instantly went south with Icicle Spear, taking out almost all of my health, forcing me to switch to Charmeleon to take it down using pure force. I'm clearly not ready yet, so I believe it's time for us to go back and do some grinding. So I decided to grind on a little patch of grass next to Nugget Bridge to get some levels, and when I think I'm ready enough, I go back to challenge the second trainer. After coming back to the gym, I took on the second Pokemon trainer there, and I decided to start off with Stun Spore as I had learned it via grinding, but I did not have the best paralysis luck, and Horn Attack did a large chunk of damage. Though luckily I was able to take out her Goldeen with a little bit better paralysis luck and 2 Vine Whips. Now it's time for me to take on Misty. Alright, Misty time. Unfortunately, I ran into another flaw with the game being how it is, and the fact that I didn't do really any research on the games or the gym leader's Pokemon, which now looking back would have been a good idea, but I decided to roll with the punches and roll out with Bellsprout. What I did not expect was Staryu to have Psychic type attacks, because most of the time it doesn't in the main series, but I then sustained a large amount of damage off of a confusion, so I ended up switching, and I pretty much throwing the rest of my team out of Pokemon as they slowly fell one by one. I lost my next 2, and then I used Charmeleon just to try and brute force my way to victory, and it worked pretty well, but when Starmie came out, he was able to take out Charmeleon before he could land the final blow, which left my already weakened Bellsprout, which came extremely close to knocking it out with Vine Whip, but it kept using Recover and then knocked us out with a Swift. But I knew I could beat her, I just needed to try a different strategy. So I decided to come back after healing up at the Pokemon Center. And I found another weird gimmick about this game, which is that the fact that you have to wait 10 minutes before you can battle the gym leader or a trainer again. I didn't know this, so I just spent a little bit of time just walking around wondering why she wasn't talking to me, and then I decided just to walk out and just stand 10 IRL minutes in this one spot. Yep, it's pretty boring. Anyway, second gym battle. And for this, I just decided to try the brute force method with Charmeleon. And somehow that actually worked pretty well. And taking small bits of damage here and there because Dragon Rage wasn't 100%. And then Starmie came out, sealing Charmeleon's fate. And then I just threw my team out again until it came back to Bellsprout. And then we traded blows until we just barely won. And then with getting Bellsprout with only a little sliver left. And with that, with Misty defeated, we got the second badge. And with how long this took to record, I think a lot of my videos are just going to be in this, like, and it's just where I just complete large sections of the game or just important gym battles. But yeah, I hope you like this new style of content and also how I cut up this to make it a bit shorter. And again, you can expect part 3 in around another week or maybe a few days, depending on if I can get myself to actually edit these videos a bit better. So please stick around and peace.